Hey guys, so this is the third or fourth day working on the barn here. I'm trying to figure out how to deal with this rotten wall. Well, let me show you what my plan is. Okay, so I showed you last time that a lot of these studs were rotten and some were just totally cut off. This particular one is hollow inside here, so they didn't cut all the rod off. This one's got a big gap under it, and this board over here, I can't even call it a stud anymore, is completely gone. The one behind it is not in much better shape. As you can see, they sit on a brick. Somebody did sort of do a repair. There's all these little 2x4s that are sort of sistered, but they're not very long, and in some cases they're actually two little 2x4 scraps that have been used. So not very good. And then I discovered that because of the foundation here is cracked and it's tipped in, what's actually happening is water, rainwater, probably water off the roof as well, is hitting the outside edge of that foundation and running underneath this bottom plate. So even though on the top it looked okay, on the bottom it's starting to go. It doesn't have long to live. I do plan on maybe next year or the year after pulling all this broken concrete out of here and repouring the footers. But for now I got to replace this rot and get the wall back where it should be, so that I can keep working on the loft floor. I suspect I'll be doing it all across this whole wall, which means I have to move all that plywood, unfortunately. So what happened was, when we bought this place, the roof was leaking on this side. Somebody has come in here and pulled the old rotten boards off and replaced it with plywood, and then it's been cedar shingled on the outside. However, they didn't do a great job. As you can see, it was just a quick fix, slap it up, and get out of here. So now it's my problem. So my plan, I have the bottle jack and my splitting block, which I'm going to use. I've built this sort of beam here that I'm going to use to jack every other floor joist up here. I'm taking advantage of the notching that's in the wall studs up above. So I've braced this so when I jack on it, I'm actually jacking on the studs and not just the floor joist itself. And in this corner there's already a 2x4 attached or sistered, so that's parked on top of that joist. So I believe this building has been jacked before, so I'm going to take advantage of that. That's not the only one that's like that. This one's also got a 2x4 sitting on top of it. There's another one there, and I can't really see, but there are some others over here. So I'm going to take advantage of whoever left those there. This one didn't have one, so I put a 2x4 across and a little wedge just to take that load as I'm jacking up and transfer it into the actual studs themselves. So that's the plan. I'm going to start here in this corner, which I hope that beam, the big beam that's in behind here, isn't rotten, but I suspect that it is. I don't know how far up the rot would go. It seems pretty solid here. And then I got to figure out what to do with this cut off bracing. So I'll have to come up with a better plan for that. So the first thing I got to do is jack this building. Once the weight is off this wall, I can start cutting out all the rot. I've already drawn a line across. I'm not sure if that's showing up, where I believe I need to build up to. It's not perfect, and I'll probably have to take additional material away as I discover more and more rot. But I got to start somewhere. So my plan is once the weight's off this wall, remove this old rotten seal plate. I'm going to just cut along that line, take that whole thing out. Because I can't fix the foundation at this point, I'm going to put a new 2x4 in there and wrap it with the sill gasket so that if water and when water does come in, it won't be in direct contact with the wood. I should have got a pressure treated 2x4, but I didn't, unfortunately. I didn't think this was in that bad a shape at that time. So once that's up, there is a height difference here where the crack is, and if you notice, whoever fixed this just notched around it, so the foundation was broken then, and they didn't fix it. They just worked around it. So that puts me in a bad position. How do I deal with this? So what I'm going to do is I have some 1x6, which I'm going to use as a spacer. So I'll wrap the new 2x4 in sill gasket, and I will lay a 1x6 pressure treated across this length, bringing it up to just about the same height as here. And then I have new pressure treated 2x6 that I will run across this whole length. And then when I come in and replace this crumbling foundation, I can just work up to that 2x6. So that's the plan. On top of that, I'll probably just lay a regular 2x6 just to help bring up the level even more, and double up the sill plate. And depending on how much rot I find, I'm going to have to do some interesting repair work, I suspect. And over here in this window, which will be the next phase, this really needs to come out. This board here, totally almost non-existent. It's just in the way, really. I got to put a header over the window. There's no header, and that 2x4 is barely attached, so that'll come out fairly easily. It's shimmed with plywood, which is no good, so that will come out easily. The window's not even secured. I can just pull it out of there. And so yeah, I'll redo this, get rid of these two scraps here in the corner, and my new 2x6 will actually come down here and sister the existing stud, which is also rotten on the bottom. So that's the plan, and even in the corner here, it's not in the best of shape. So I don't know how much of that I had to remove, but that's the initial plan. So the first thing I got to do is jack the building. Okay, the weight's definitely off that. So let's lower this and hope this holds. One. actually moves. I'm going to keep it there, maybe a little more. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Let's lock this into place. Not much swing room. Okay. It's up. There is movement in the wall here. Okay, so here's a closer look at what I've done. I've got this beam locked in place with this stud and shim above it. It's in that notch. All these studs are notched, so that's a lot of creaking going on. It's worrying me. Anyway, this is notched in, so I jacked up the beam, which should lift up these studs because it's locked in place, and now I've put this, I'm calling it a strong back. It's just two perpendicular 2x4s. Same deal here. That stud is locked in place with this floor joist is locked in place with the stud that's screwed to the, or nailed to the beam there, so it can't go anywhere. If it's going up, it's going to bring the wall with it. And now I've got it braced as well using the same perpendicular 2x4s. And now the wall has some movement. So the weight's off of it. I can cut out all this rot and start replacing it. So that's what's next.